Hello, it's Pam here. Welcome. Today is a bonus video because it's my birthday. And yeah, I'm 51 today, December 6th. So I thought I would do a little bonus video and just show a few of my favorite things. Now, this is not an exhaustive list because I just kind of gathered up things that were around me in my house and in my little bookshelf here in the closet. Have the closet door open. I have a few things up over here, just kind of covering up my kids' faces because I don't necessarily want them on here. So what are the things that I like? A lot of them are books. So let's start with the books. Now, I love Anne of Green Gables, everything Anne, all of the Lucy Maud Montgomery books. I read The Story Girl, I think, first, believe it or not, before I found Anne, and I was really young. I found it in the library, and imagine my delight and surprise when she had this whole series. Then the Emily books, those were another huge favorite, and I've read every single thing I could get my hands on several times. And I think I related to Anne a lot because I was often misunderstood. I was often in my imagination somewhere else. And I just really thought she was a delightful human being. So that was a favorite book. Another favorite as I got a bit older was The Hiding Place, Corrie ten Boom. I really loved that story, and it just brought me a lot of hope and thinking about suffering and what it means, and her journey of forgiveness and all of that. Then, totally different. I recently wrote a blog where I talked about the delightfulness of Winnie the Pooh and his kind of perspective on life, and just how he was himself all the time, no matter what was happening. It just delightful. And when I was in university, my favorite course that I took was called Children's Lit, like children's literature. And we did The Wind in the Willows, and I absolutely loved that. So I think that was kind of a clue too, that I didn't necessarily love the teaching part as much as I loved the actual literature, right? So it was a bit of a clue, but I didn't clue into it. Who Has Seen the Wind? This is another one. I love this old copy that I have of it. Such a great book, a Canadian classic. Who Has Seen the Wind? Let me know if you've read any of these. Probably you have. And Hamlet. I mean, this is a terrible looking copy. I think it might be one that I picked up from the school I worked at, or someone gave me. But I have better copies. They're in bins somewhere. So I love Shakespeare. I know that sounds like every English teacher loves Shakespeare, but man, I almost go into kind of a trance-like state. It's odd when I'm teaching Shakespeare. It's like I'm always thinking Shakespeare. It's like I'm transported back to that time, and I'm really deeply thinking about the characters and their motivations. And I think Hamlet is my favorite, and then Macbeth. I absolutely love Macbeth. So then going back a little bit more to my childhood, I don't know if any of you had these Childcraft books. They were distributed with the World Book Encyclopedia sets, of which we had, World Book. We had the entire set, 1985 copyright, I think this one was. So when I was a kid, I would read the encyclopedias. And I think I got through all of them eventually. So it gives you a little bit of insight into what my life was like. But my favorite thing about reading was fairy tales. there was a fairy tale book that my grandmother had, and in her in my aunt's room, and I would go to stay there once in a while, and it was just the most delightful thing. It was like a silent morning, not so loud and boisterous and early as at home, and I found this book of fairy tales, and I just laid there on that bed and read that book. And I think my grandma and grandpa were probably wondering, what on earth is she doing in there? But I just love to read fairy tales, especially, and poems. And so these kind of books were my introduction to that whole world, and so I value them. Now this is a guilty pleasure book. Maeve Binchy. I have read all of her books at least twice, some of them more than that, like The Copper Beech. And I mean, I shouldn't say guilty pleasure. She's kind of known as more of a, not a classical writer, right? You wouldn't study Maeve Binchy in your English class. But her characters and just her Irish way, the sayings that she has in there, I grew up with a lot of those too in my family, and just her dialogue, the way that she builds worlds. And for some reason I can read her books over and over again, even though I'm not usually that kind of person. And I just wanted to talk about this quick too. Pilgrim's Progress. This is a beautiful version that I bought some years ago. Ooh, it has a note in it. What is this? You never know the treasures that you, oh. Interesting. Okay. I'll have to check that out and see what that was. Some kind of letter. Anyway, I love Pilgrim's Progress. Just, it's such a classic. Okay, have I done with the books? I know you're probably bored, but you have to, what's the word, humor me, because it's my birthday. Like, even if you're bored out of your mind, you have to watch this. Okay, what else do I love? I've been to Nova Scotia a couple of times. I absolutely adore Nova Scotia. And this is a painting that my daughter, who has also visited there a couple times because her best friend, one of her best friends lives there. And I just love this beautiful painting that she bought me from there. So I thought that would be a good thing to mention. I can't wait to go back to Nova Scotia one day. I want to take my husband Dylan there and just show him all the beautiful little red roads and beaches and docks and boats and little cute coffee shops. It's absolutely wonderful. So here's a picture of me up on a mountain. So it's, I think we were climbing Black Tusk, a trail, and, or maybe, yeah, I think that was it. Anyway, so it was probably in my mid-20s or late 20s, and I just love mountains. I love hiking in the mountains, and thankfully we live just a few hours from the Canadian Rocky Mountains, and so every time we have an opportunity, we head to the mountains, and a lot of times it's enough to just see them, even if it's the most dismal day and it's not hiking weather. We love to just walk in the mountains and look at them. Okay, this is nothing super special, but it is a little book that I bought to put poems in, because I've written a lot of poems, but I'm very haphazard about them. So I thought I would buy a book. I also love journals, so, and I love the color, the bright yellow color of this one. And so I have all kinds of journals. But I wanted to collect my poems in one place. and I have done an absolutely horrible job of doing that. There's one poem in this. So that just goes to show you. But I have poems all over the place, and I have made various attempts to gather them and print them out and put them in a file somewhere. But if you asked me right now to go find them, I would not be able to do that. So I guess I need to work a little harder on that. So speaking of Nova Scotia, a little ways back, there's no order to this. This is a mug that was made at Le Havre, I think it's called, Westcote Pottery. I can't really read the bottom, but I love pottery, and I love pottery that you can, that local crafts people have made, and they're signed on the bottom, and it's a memory of somewhere. So my friend Jan bought me this one. And she is a good friend that lives in Nova Scotia. She's the one I went to visit back in 2017. And that was such a wonderful time. So I have a weakness for pottery. I'm not a big shopper, but I will buy pottery. I have bowls, I have mugs, not a lot, but enough. And in the spirit of drinking out of mugs, I also love teacups. Isn't this a pretty one? I absolutely think that these are so beautiful. Oh, something fell back there. I better put my head in the way. So I can't really collect anymore because I don't really have any, many places to put them. I have one small china cabinet that I don't want to overload with things. So I don't collect them per se, but I have had friends buy me some beautiful examples, and I really appreciate that. But the first ones I got from my grandmother on my dad's side after she passed away, they were asking, who wants all this these fancy little cups and saucers, and she would always have to drink her tea from a fancy mug, like a china teacup. And I remember that about her, and so I love that I had that from her. Also love candles. My tenant, actually, sweet lady, she bought me this, and it's very decadent. I would probably never buy this for myself, but it smells amazing, and so I've been really enjoying filling the house with beautiful scents. Okay, we're almost at the end. I promise you. Also love soap, handmade soap. My friend Inga, she made this, and it smells delightful. It smells like the ocean. And I just think that handmade soaps are the absolute best, and I will buy them and use them, and I so appreciate my friend giving me those. So what else? I think we're almost done here. I had the microphone because years ago I was given this microphone, and I have spent a lot of time singing into microphones in my life, so I thought that was just a bit of a symbol of who I am. Also the piano. This little piano, I think, was Dylan's, my husband's grandmother's, and I think it's quite old. If my mother-in-law is watching, maybe she can tell me or put in the comments. So I have to keep this safe because I like to have it on the piano, but some of my younger students will play with it, and I'm really worried they're gonna wreck it. So I always put it away somewhere where nobody can find it when most of my students come in, unless they're the older ones. Well, I think we're coming to the end of my little stash of things that I love. But I had this picture of Dylan and I love him. I don't mind showing pictures of him on here because he has been on my channel, right? And we've done videos together, but he is just the best man. And we were so, young and foolish and not knowing what we were doing when we got married. But I'm just so amazed at how God has worked in both of our lives. And I'm so thankful for him. He's such a good man. He's working today on my birthday, but that's okay because I am going out for dinner with him tonight, hopefully. And I kind of love having a day at home by myself anyway, so it's not a huge deal. Well, I think that wraps it up. Thanks for watching all of my little favorite things. Books are a big one. I think it would be absolutely delightful to own a little bookstore somewhere with a coffee shop attached to it. And yeah, that would be the dream. But I think in the end it would probably be a huge amount of work. But it seems kind of like a fun way to live. So, well, thanks for coming to my little birthday talk, and I hope that you're having an awesome day, whatever you're doing. And yeah, let me know if you resonated or you were like, oh, I love that too, in the comments. And I'll talk to you again really soon. Bye.